Welcome on back. Today, we are going to be looking at 4 must-add players for your fantasy baseball teams. The list we've compiled today, pretty decent one, some exciting names, some bounce backs, and some people coming back from injuries. Today, as always, this episode is brought to you by FanDuel Canada, the best place to be betting baseball. If you're in Canada, and even if you're in America, bet baseball on FanDuel. Let's get into these 4 players. First one, TJ Friedl of the Reds, 46% rostered, just came back from injury. So I'll look at his numbers from last year, where he hit 279, 18 home runs, 66 driven in, stole 27 bases, his weighted runs created plus of 116. TJ was a top 30 fantasy baseball outfielder. Last season is coming back after a wrist injury in spring training. So a couple games back, it's clear that he's going to be their full-time center fielder. Friedl didn't even have a platoon option when that was going on, as he played against a left-hander, going 2 for 4 in that game. Getting a fantasy baseball option with someone who's going to hit close to 20 home runs, steal close to 30 bases while hitting 280 is a really, really good fantasy baseball player. And the best part, he gets to play half of his games at Great American Ballpark, which is known as one of the friendliest hitter ballparks. The advanced numbers don't indicate that home runs are the biggest part of his game, as last season he didn't hit anyone that wasn't a pull side home run. He has a low barrel percentage, a low sweet spot percentage as well, and the average exit velocity isn't great. But again, if you're only going to hit pull side home runs, Great American Ballpark is a great place to do it. He's got a short porch to work with out there in right field. He has the profile of a great average hitter and a great speed guy. Those are also just super useful. So if we can keep the power coming up, I know maybe we raise some average exit velocity compared to last season. I'm not banking on it being huge. I'm thinking like 20 home runs is probably his ceiling when it comes to TJ Friedl and his profile, but this is too good of a player to be sitting on your wire. I will be picking him up. Next, we go to someone coming back from injury again. Taj Bradley of the Tampa Bay Rays, 35% rostered. Last season in his rookie year, he went 5-8, a 5.59 ERA. He had 129 strikeouts, a whip of 1.4, and 104.2 innings pitched. Preseason, I love Taj Bradley, and unfortunately we had to deal with that injury, and he's had an awesome rehab stint. He gets the ball tonight against the Yankees. So whatever you think of this Yankees team is what I would do with Taj Bradley if you want to pick him up and try and start him tonight. It's probably not the best thing to do. If I had him, picked him up, I'm probably not starting him tonight. This is a tough first matchup for him to come back to, but I think he'll show flashes of his long-term upside today. I was reading from Scott White, and this is what he had to say. Bradley has a new splitter that he's throwing 20% of the time. The splitter has become a popular finishing pitch for talented pitchers who struggle to get over the hump, like Bryce Miller, someone we talked about, and it may explain Bradley's minor league dominance. So we can look at the good from last season. Strikeout rate at 28%, really good. And an 85th percentile fastball velocity. The bad was pretty much everything else. But we can look into some of the numbers that show he will be better. Some of the best predictive stats for pitchers are xFIP, SIERA, and strikeout minus walk percentage. And you look at Taj Bradley, he had an xFIP of 380, almost 2 full runs lower than his ERA, and a SIERA of 381. Strikeout minus walk percentage of 19.8%. That's the thanks part to a great strikeout rate. We can probably get that up a little bit. We want the walks to be down. But Taj Bradley is a very good pitcher. I think he's going to be awesome this season as long as he stays healthy. I think this is a really good option. Third, we're going to head out west for Mitch Garver and the Seattle Mariners. He is a catcher, which is great for us to know. 37% rostered. So far this season, a 1.76 average, 4 home runs, 10 driven in, can't steal bases, and a weighted runs created plus of 88. I think we're in the middle of a heat check for Mitch Garver, who has been a great hitter over his career. In the last 2 weeks, he is heating up. He has a 146 weighted runs created plus, 870 OPS, 250 average, and 3 home runs. He's not going to be a great average hitter, but we want the home runs from Mitch Garver. We've only seen Garver play over 100 games one time since he came into the league since 2017. That makes sense because he was catching, but now he is penciled in the DH spot, and that is awesome for fantasy value, as it's way harder to get hurt as the DH than it is a catcher behind the plate every game. I'm trying to get ahead of Mitch Garver here. He is still mashing four-seam fastballs to the tune of a 741 slug. It's just sliders, sinkers, and sweepers are absolutely killing him. He can't hit them right now. Whiffing 48% of the time on sliders so far this season, but you look at the last 2 years, and he's around 35%. So I think he can get back to that. He's a better hitter than he is showing right now. I want to get ahead of Mitch Garver. If you are losing a catcher because of injury like Contreras, I think this isn't a bad option at L. And finally, we have a pitcher, Chris Paddock of the Twins, 15% rostered so far on the season. 4-1, a 4.34 ERA. He struck out 37. He has a whip of 1.5 in 37.1 innings pitched. Over his last 4 starts, Chris Paddock has been incredible. He has a line of 23 innings pitched. He's given up 24 hits, only 5 earned runs. He's only walked 3 people, 28 strikeouts, a 1.93 ERA, and that is a 1.16 whip with a 2.26 FIP and a ground ball rate of 52%. Since April 20th, only 4 pitchers have logged more strikeouts than Chris Paddock, and that is Zach Wheeler, Dylan Cease, Tyler Glasnow, and Luis Castillo. Is a pretty good group to be in with. Chris Paddock is really good at limiting hard contact and limiting free bases. He has a career walk rate under 5%, which is fantastic. He has an xFIP currently a full run lower than his ERA, a batting average on balls of play against of 365, which is pretty high, and a SIERA of 360. The predictive stats are telling you that things are going to get better for Chris Paddock. I know things are going great right now, but we can get even better. I think as Chris Paddock returns to his old form, some good things are going to continue to happen. I think this is a good pickup if you need some more help. I think Taj Bradley's ahead of Paddock here. Like, the upside is way bigger for Bradley, but this is a really good option as well. Thank you everyone for watching Must Add. Let me know what you think of the players. Any questions you have for me in the comments. Thank you to FanDuel Canada for sponsoring the video, and I will see you guys next week.